Since I spawned into my hardcore world, I had one goal: to get better. My building, PvP, and overall gameplay. Now, in the time I've played this world, I've pushed myself for the first two, having transformed an entire village as well as beat the dragon for the first time ever, but the third needs to happen. Today, I'm beginning to improve my gameplay as I build multiple of the most important farms in Minecraft: automatic, semi-automatic, and a mob-based farm. Also, if you want to like or subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It's free, super quick, it shows me that you guys want this series to continue, and you can always change your mind. Now that I spawned in, I realized I set my spawn in this village near where my ender portal was, so I actually have to make the trip back to my house, but once I get there, I can start working on making trades and collecting resources up to make the farms that I'm going to have today. I think I'm going to set most of them near where my gunpowder farm is because I want to turn that into an industrial area. And the first thing I'm going to need to do is collect up a bunch of cobblestone for the pistons and observers that are going to be in the melon and pumpkin farms, which are the first thing I'm going to do. I might have to go to the nether and get quartz really quick, although for now I'm just going to collect up this stone. I realize now that I might have actually had a lot more quartz than I thought, and one thing I'm probably going to need to do sometime this episode is to make a cleric villager so I can make redstone as a trade and it's easier to get. I'm heading over to where I have my gunpowder and my wool farm just so that I can AFK in that general area and all of my farms are working at the same time so that it's a lot easier to collect up massive amounts of resources when needed. And somehow I forgot the brewing stand, which is the one thing I was supposed to bring over here so that I could turn one of the villagers in the village right next to me into a cleric. So I'm going to head back really quick and then I can get started on the pumpkin/melon farm because they're going to be grouped together in the sugarcane farm. And after the long trip there and back, I can finally convert one of the villagers into a cleric, who now sells me redstone, so it's a lot easier to get. And because I wasn't following a tutorial, I'm pretty sure I went wrong somewhere. The general outline is working, although if it was working completely fine, the pistons would be going off with the observers right now. But just because I think it's better to be prepared, I'm going to grab some quartz really quick from the nether. Realized I never started recording. Yep, didn't really do much. I'm going back to my base really quick so I can trade and get a few more emeralds because I have zombified and cured these villagers so their trades are better. And I think that I'm going to try to hook it up so that I have two nether portals on the roof, so traveling between my base and the base near the gunpowder farm are going to be way faster. And given all the tutorials that I've looked at, I know for a fact that I have enough to at least get to the nether roof and then get out from on the nether roof because getting stuck there would be terrible. And really quick, marking down my coordinates so that these actually hook up and it's a lot easier traveling between the places. I've reached bedrock, but now I just need to find a place where it will lead towards Y127 and then I can get up to the roof without it being an issue. And this is the right block, so if I'm not wrong, then this should work, but I just don't want to get glitched into the bedrock and then die from suffocation, which I don't know how often that happens, but I've never done this before, so oh, okay, well that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And if I am not an idiot, which is a pretty big if, this should hook up to the other portal. I think that I've gotten the coordinates down for this, and with that I should be able to easily get between my normal base and the nether roof. Oh, perfect! And before I hook up another nether portal on this end of it so that it travels easier, I'm going to work on the melon farm. And these farms are pretty much done. All I have to do is add some glass on the front bit of it and then they will be fully complete and I can work on the stone farm next. Okay, I made a portal over here and really quick I'm going to hook up another portal at the top of the nether roof and I can then have a hub complete. we are back at bedrock, and all I have to do is jump up here and then I can be done. Perfect. Now I just need to hook up the nether portal, and really quick I'm going to mark where I came in so that I can break the bedrock and it'll be easier getting in and out. There we go, and if I'm not mistaken, this should hook up to the other portal. That I'm done with that, I've done a bit of trading and I got enough glass to fill in the fronts of the sugarcane and the pumpkin / melon farms, so I'm going to go over there and do that, and then I can collect up the materials needed for the stone farm, and then finally I can get working on the gold farm. But before I get started on anything, I'm going to break the bedrock at the top of my nether hub so that I can easily get in and out without wasting a pearl every single time I want to travel between the two locations. So if I do this right, then I should be able to click and this should have broken. Oh, perfect. That was a lot easier than I thought. I set up a chest where I'm going to keep all of the resources for building the stone farm just so that I can get exactly all of the things I need, and I'll see my progress faster. But an opportunity has arisen really quick because there is a thunderstorm going on, and if I get some copper really fast and smelt it down, I can make a lightning rod, and then I can get the surge protector advancement because I'm right next to a village, so it'll be super duper easy to be able to do that. I don't know if I'll have enough control to convert anything into a witch or something other than that, but at least I can get the surge protector. And yes, the thunderstorm is still going on. I just need this third piece of copper and then I can craft it. I don't know if I have to do anything other than place this down, but I'm definitely going to take a step away because I don't want to be close to it when it happens. Oh, it is working. And working very well. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, at least I know this village won't burn down. And this is the amount of progress that I've made so far. I'm going to get the last few resources collected up and then I can start building it. And with these last few things, these are all of the materials I'm going to need for this project, other than some lava buckets, which I will collect after I've built it so that it's a lot easier for me, and I can get started on the actual creation of this farm. But really quick, I'm going to get sidetracked and spend about 10 minutes working on a cactus farm, just because it was a pain in the spot to be able to get these cactus all the way back here to the real farm, and I may as well get a bunch of them so that I never have to go looking again. And following my own intuition, I just decided to design something, and I think that this should work perfectly fine, and all of the resources are going to be collected up once I get this started. I don't currently have enough cactus to fill in all of this area, but once I do, this should work perfectly fine, and it won't be a big deal to be able to create. It's already making cactus, so overall, a very good dedication of time. Now, to get started on the stone farm, I'm going to terraform a bit of the area around here because I've cleared out these trees, so there's a bit of open space, and I think that it's far enough away that the sound of blasting TNT every single time the machine goes off won't bother me too much. And with that out of the way, I can get started on the actual building of this farm. It's kind of tedious and long, and it's annoying because you misplace one block and it doesn't work. So I'm going to put it in a replay, and you can see all of the frustration and times that I have to go back. And I'm supposed to be done, so I am going to turn it on and put it in the on position and then try it. I don't know what I just did, but with this, it should turn on and hopefully work. And it doesn't, so something's wrong. And I've made some adjustments. I don't necessarily know what was wrong with it, but I'm gonna hope that this works this time. I rebuilt the top portions of it and then hoped that it was just a redstone issue, so when I turn this on it should work. And it also does not, so there is still something wrong with this. I've tried fixing this farm so many times that I just decided to download Lightmatica and then hope that that can fix it. The one on my Lightmatica worked, although I used some different blocks, they do the same thing, so that's why there's so many wrong blocks. And with that, this should hopefully work, although it was a lot harder to build just because there's so many things going on in this build. But hopefully... And it doesn't work at all. So... I don't even know what I'm gonna do. And I've screwed it up so many times that even the one in my creative testing world doesn't even work anymore. Just because of how many times I've had to rebuild this and it still is not working, I'm just gonna go to the end really quick and get an elytra so that I can start working on the gold farm before this whole project of building the stone farm annoys me to death, and hopefully I'll fix it as I'm building the gold farm, although I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to put my important materials and the materials used to build this in this box, and then I then made the long journey over to where my end portal was and eventually got there. I bridged back over to the main island so I had a bridge and finally used the remote getaway. Okay, well that spawned me way closer to the edge than I would have hoped. I'm going to turn up my render distance and mark these chords really fast, and then hopefully I can find a city. I turned my max render distance all the way on, and hopefully... Oh, there's already an end ship over there. Okay, well I just gotta get over there. Hopefully there's an easy, safe way to do it. I just don't want to bridge all the way over this void, because that's gonna... I think that this will make it. Oh. Or maybe I don't do that anymore because that was way closer to the side than it should have been. Okay, this city is way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I put my shield on and hopefully I can defend myself from these shulkers while I'm here. I might also get some shulker boxes, but my main event is the elytra. And I'm not going to go inside of the actual city, but any chance I can get, I'm going to go on the outside and just collect up the materials in these chests because they are completely overpowered. I am going to start bridging over there. I'm over land, so I'm not going to fall into the void. I'm going to put on my totem of undying. I have a pearl, I have my water bucket, and hopefully I can get over there without a mistake. Okay, just because the shulkers hit me, I'm going to use the levitation for my advantage and get over here before it comes off. And I'm finally to the ship. This is going to be my first time ever getting an elytra in a survival world, so I'm super excited because it's a whole new way of travel. And with that, I can finally put that on, although I was responsible and remembered to bring an anvil as well as a book of mending and a book of unbreaking, so my elytra will be fully maxed out and I won't have an issue with it breaking anytime soon. That is not my elytra. That is. And I'm like 90% sure that I know how to use one of these, and I brought rockets as well because I knew what I was doing, so I can finally get home, and this will make traveling so much faster. And while I said that I was going to get started on the gold farm, last night I was watching YouTube and I realized on the tab that I had left open that was the stone farm, there was a comment at the top saying that you can only get this farm to work if you're using a stone button. So I'm gonna go back and then hopefully that the only issue I was having was because I was using a dark oak wood button and a stone button will actually work. So genuinely thank you to the person who figured that out. I had no idea what was going wrong and I really hope that this is the simple fix. So I went back and rebuilt the entirety of the redstone portion of this farm for like the 7th time in a week, and I finally got it to be done. I am hoping so hard that this is done. If it's not, I genuinely might just give up, but... Oh my gosh, it's working. Oh my goodness, that's... That was like hours worth of my time, and I really didn't want them to be wasted, so this is thankfully done, and it'll be easy. This is also super efficient. I was away for like 5 minutes, and really quick I'm gonna check, but it's supposed to make like thousands. Yeah, it's making like thousands of stone per hour, so this will be super good. And I sort of chickened out last time, but I'm headed back to the end for the second time, and I'm going to collect up a bunch of shulker boxes so that I can collect materials easier for the farms that I'm going to make. The end is genuinely so much less scary when I have an elytra and some fireworks, because then I can get in and out of a bad situation so much easier, and I don't have a crippling fear of the void anymore. Although I am going to put on my chest plate because I'm going to be killing shulkers and I want as much protection as I can possibly. Okay. Well, I didn't realize I wasn't wearing my elytra. So I'm really glad that I wasn't using my shield. The first thing I'm gonna need is a bunch of magma. I mean like thousands of magma, so I'm going to get that over with first. Realistically, there was probably a farm that I could have built, but I also think that that would have taken me a few hours, if not days, to complete, and this is probably just going to take me an hour and a half more, and I can be done with this, so I'm sure that this probably isn't the most efficient method of getting it, but I'm going to settle for being lazy. And with that, I do not have all of the magma that I'm going to need, but I have the majority of it, so it's a lot easier, and I can do most of the build without finishing that, and I'll just come back down here before it's done. Now, the thing that I actually want to do is rework the entirety of my pumpkin and my melon farms, because I realized that I built them in the most inconvenient and slow method ever, so I'm going to rebuild all of it. And I'm not going to show all of that because it's long and tedious, so I pretty much just rebuilt it, but with one less observer, because 2 pistons can be charged by 1 observer each, and I saved materials in doing that. And now that I'm done with collecting the magma and I just have to AFK for emeralds so I can get glass, I'm going to get the more nuanced, smaller quantities of materials that I'm going to need for this farm, one of which being a bunch of warped wood so that I can make warped trapdoors, as they don't burn and they're not going to decay in the nether, unlike some overworld. So I'm bringing back this blue nether grass. I really don't know what it's called, and I'm going to butcher the name if I try to do it, and I'm going to plant these and grow them so I can cut them down here. And editor's note, I genuinely have no idea why I felt the urge to bring back all of this wood when I could have just chopped down a forest in the nether, which would have been so much easier and saved me a bunch of trips. So this was the least efficient way of collecting this. And now I'm gonna head over here because I'm going to use cobblestone for some of the crafted materials that I'm going to need for this farm. So I'm going to use my new stone farm that only took me like 7 hours to build. After smelting, crafting, and trading for a bunch of different materials, as well as making an auto farm to cook down all of my sand into glass, I was finally ready for this. It only took a bunch of time, multiple farms, and a bunch of AFKing for iron for minecarts. And with this, I think that I'm finally ready to get started on this, as long as these last few pieces of glass are going to smelt down, and then I can get started on the actual building of the farm. All of these are in green, which means I have all of them, and I don't have the warped trapdoors because I have warped wood that I'm going to craft up there, and then it's just easier for me to store and bring up there. So I am finally going to put this onto my nether roof, and I can get started on all of the building of this. And I put it somewhat close to both of my nether portals on the nether roof so that it's close to homes. I've gotten to the top where I'm actually going to have to start putting in like effort and genuine thought into placing blocks, although the first bit is just a glass platform. Okay, I couldn't start recording. Did I just strip that? Okay, I'm gonna fix that really quick. But I just started recording really fast because somehow the villager that was in this house with me got infected by a zombie, but the zombie didn't start attacking me. I'm trying to fix this and it's not working. But anyways, I don't know how, but I had to kill the protection 4 villager that I had, so I'm gonna have to replace him one of these days. But that was weird. And after getting all of the iron from my iron farm, I began placing the minecarts that I crafted into their respective areas so that the entity cramming would kill all of the zombified piglins, and then I finished working and filling in the magma. That is all the magma that I have, and it is going to be very, very efficient because it's 3 layers and the 4th is outlined, so it'll probably just be like an hour worth of fixing it. The last thing I'm going to need to do is flip all of these down and then finally fill in the minecarts that I do not have so far. So the last thing I'm going to need to do is again AFK by my iron farm so that I can craft up all of the minecarts, and entity cramming will actually kill the zombified piglins and I can get their XP and materials. After a few hours of AFKing, hopefully this will be enough for this to be done. This is not the most efficient iron farm, so that's not bad, but I think that it's enough for all of my minecarts to be crafted up. I placed in all of the minecarts because again I forgot to start recording, and I'm going to shoot one of these piglins, and I'm going to also have my fireworks ready so that I can fly out of here really quick if I build this wrong. I just don't want them jumping over me and want to kill me, and there's not many coming that way, but they cannot get over. So I have built this right and it is working, which means that all of my different farms are done, and this was a really good learning experience, so I'm glad that I did it, and now I'll have a lot more materials, so